where there's a story in every bottle. It's time again.
It's always time again. It's always time, right? It always seems like it's time,
So
which is a good thing. Here we are.
It's a good thing.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Happy
Week
of Thanksgiving.
Monday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It happens once a year, the Monday before Thanksgiving. Very auspicious time, and here we are together.
And we have a lot of wines that I think
Look at this.
really
We're going to
go
drink.
well.
We're going to drink 7 bottles of wine tonight.
We are?
No. Just thought I'd say that for fun.
Oh, that would be fun.
But these,
Not
all
tomorrow
of
morning,
these go really well with Thanksgiving.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Or
A
any
lot of the
all
wines
holiday
that we make
activity.
Here go really well with the kinds of things that people serve on Thanksgiving
You
and
know why?
Christmas dinner.
You know why?
Because we're in New England.
Because we're in New England.
And these are New England
This
wines.
is the place
is our
where
terroir.
Thanksgiving started.
Yeah, and this is
Yeah,
our terroir.
and this is
the
it.
Stuff that people
Cranberries.
would eat
Cranberries
and
have
drink
been- right.
with apples and exactly.
This is it.
What everybody had with their Thanksgiving dinner 300 years ago.
Poof.
Imagine that.
It just all makes sense. It all comes in crystal clear now.
Wow.
Making stuff from the land. It all fits.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great.
Good.
And
so
look, we
let's,
have some nice foods here too.
Yeah, we have some nice.
Kinda
Before
hidden.
we get into that, let's get. Let's
Oh, yeah, here you go.
Yeah, we got to say
Do your thing.
our preamble. I know everybody on today. I see everybody on. Christine's here and Priscilla and.
Hi, you guys.
That's all I can see for now. There's a few other people on. If you are on, I see there's a couple people on who haven't made any comments. We'd love it if you'd mention yourself or say hello in the comment section because we see the comments and we'll know you're here. If you have any questions, we'd also love it if you'd ask your questions while we're here live, and we'll do our best to get to your questions while we're on the air. If we can't get to your questions now, we'll get to them at the end of the show. And if you are here for the first time, we'd love it if you'd subscribe to our YouTube or Facebook page. You can subscribe to our YouTube right below Ken, and if you push that button, you'll become a subscribing member. And there's a little bell in Facebook. If you push that little bell, you'll subscribe to Facebook. That just means if we go live on Monday night or anywhere else in the world, you'll get a notification that says that we're live, and you'll get to tune in and learn about what we're doing. Like I said, it's almost every Monday we'll be going live, and then we also might be found on some random body of water or ski slope or some woods somewhere.
That's right.
If we get reception, we'll be live there. So learn a little bit about us, follow our story, and that'd be great. And then if you like this broadcast today, please share it with your friends or on your page so that you can introduce others who might be interested in these topics. And if you didn't know, all of these shows live forever on our website, so you can always go back and look at
The new website.
On the new website, the brand spanking new website. So
Yes.
if you haven't seen our new website, you should go check it out, www.hermitwoods.com. It's only been live about 3 weeks. So I think I've covered everything. Again, please ask your questions. And I see Chuck is here. Chuck is joining us in the comments.
Is
Hi,
he from
Chuck.
Paris?
Great to see you.
Are you in Paris, Chuck?
He said he was in Paris earlier today, but that could change. You know, he could get on.
If he's in Paris, it's late at night.
I think he's in Paris.
I thought he was
He's
heading
saying
there.
earlier.
I know he's
Chuck,
on
where
a
are
trip
you?
to Paris. But I wanted to bring up, when you were talking before about this on our website and our story and all that, have you put a post out about this podcast that was done about us by this guy out in Los Angeles,
I did.
Beyond Organic?
I believe I posted it. I'll check to verify, but I'm pretty
Because
sure.
it was really fun. It was an interview that was done by this guy who's really into wine. He's in Los Angeles, of all places.
Oh, yeah.
And-
I posted it. Let me just go
they interviewed Bob and Chuck and I live, and he wrote up a nice little preamble to it and then posted the podcast.
Yep.
It is there. Can you grab a link to that and then put it in the comments here?
Yeah.
But it really, it was really a joy to talk to this guy because he's out on the West Coast where, of course, Vitis vinifera grapes, Glasses wine grapes grow really well. In Los Angeles basin, it's very flat there, much better to grow citrus and other things, but you can grow grapes there. But in the foothills and further north in Santa Barbara and down south near San Diego in the foothills there, fantastic wines being grown there. And he is really excited about thinking outside the box when it comes to making wine. And he somehow heard about us. I forget what the direction was. Oh, it was from Mike Apollo and Nico
Right.
and maybe Deirdre in Vermont. So he's been reaching out to different places, probably globally, but more focused domestically, and has connected with people who are rethinking wine production. And I love his phrase where, and I've never thought about this before, but he talked about places that are making wines, like Chile, like Napa Valley, California. These are French wines made in Chile and Napa.
That actually was one of the most striking
I
parts
was-
of the interview.
I was just
when
like-
when I was suggesting that we didn't want to import grapes, from Cabernet grapes from California to
and
make California
make them
wine.
here.
And then he waited till I was finished and very poignantly at the end said,
Yeah.
and by the way, Cabernet is not native to California.
Yeah, I know.
And
Right.
this guy got it.
Mondavi brought it there because he saw the growing conditions were ideal for it.
And all of our, the entire conversation about what we're doing and the fruit that we're using is about fruit that grows here. That's for the most part native here. Not all of it is of course native to this area. I mean, honeyberries aren't native to this area.
Sure.
But for the most part, we're working with fruit that have been around since Thanksgiving was first thought about 300 or 400 years ago.
Right.
So
I don't know where cranberries originated, but I'm sure that they were not brought and planted in the bogs in Cape Cod or
you sure?
New England. I'm pretty sure of that.
Maybe somebody knows.
Let's do a quick
Google it.
search on
Yeah.
the origin. I know.
Nonetheless,
Yeah.
this guy
Yeah, I love the way he brought that
spoke our
up.
language
Yeah.
more than anybody I've talked to in the wine business.
I know it was the church and the choir. We were both like firing off each other. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I say too.
Yeah, it was so cool. So
Yeah,
if
it
you
was
haven't
great.
heard the interview, it's worth it. And not just our interview. This guy's interviewed people all over the world, as
Yeah.
you said, and his podcast has a long list of you can go back and listen to all his other shows. And he's got Mike Apollo is growing fruit organically down in southern New Hampshire.
Yep.
And so we talked to Mike and Deirdre, as you said, at Garagista in Vermont.
In Vermont.
Is probably one of the best known New England hybrid growers.
Right.
And
Which
she's-
is, these are hybrid grapes. So these are, an abstraction. These are an organism called humans that have created this in the environment.
Well, and the hybrid grapes are, as we talk about, they don't like to grow here either.
No, I know.
It's hard to grow hybrid grapes here.
Cranberries
because
like to grow here.
Cranberries,
Elderberries
yeah.
like to grow here.
Yeah.
Rose hips like to grow here.
It's
Apples
too
like to
humid
grow
for
here.
grapes.
Yeah.
It's too humid for clustered fruit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to grow them. So, and the other thing that I thought was interesting is right after this interview, Eric Asimov from New York Times
Yes.
did an interview or did an article. He wrote this whole story, and he also interviewed
Eric?
No, Garagista.
Oh, Deirdre?
Deirdre.
Yeah.
She was central to the article, and his whole premise was looking, people around the world as climate is changing and as the availability of fruit is changing, and people are looking to their backyards. They're looking to the fruit that grows here,
Right.
And some are being crafted into blends that
We were just a little bit ahead of the curve there, a little bit.
little bit. 13 years. We've been saying this for a while.
Well, yeah.
And it hasn't been, we haven't seen the mainstream media really bite into
No,
this
not yet.
up until the
No.
last 4 or 5 years.
No, and you go to any
place.
place, and it's Cabernet, Merlot, and Chardonnay.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's what
It's
it
the
is.
name of the grapes. It's not even a
You
place.
know, I get to talk a lot
know?
about this when I do the tour.
Yeah.
I get to talk a lot about to our tour guests about how different things are, how different we're doing things, and all of these ideas get to come out when I do a tour about how people think about the industry and how they think about how wine is made and where wine comes from. It's got me so excited. I've been trying to find the time to do this. I'm going to do this class, and it'll happen soon because I'm really getting excited about it. But a wine appreciation class,
Yeah.
where we can just talk about.
Yeah,
this
I mean, I came down during your tour, and there you are with a whole group, and you're swirling. You're talking about the whole concept behind swirling, which is great because so many people out there don't know why people do that.
Right.
And the wine world is scary for a lot of people. It seems impenetrable. It seems like there's some mystique to it. And that's being diffused all the time now. And the younger generations are really ripping it apart, which is great. It's not the stodgy old 50s of wine out of Bordeaux. It's a new time.
It's actually two parts. It's either they're so confused by it
Right.
that they just don't have a clue where they fall, or they've been sold a bill of goods that isn't real.
Yeah.
There's a whole group of people out there that think they know everything there is to know about wine, and
Right.
really they know just a little sliver.
Yeah, that they just say it so strongly
just
that,
say
that
it
this is
strongly, yeah,
it.
that they've been
This is the
taught.
only way that it's done.
This is the way, yeah. You need to
Grapes
drink
grow in
Napa Cash.
France, nowhere else.
Well, most of the people in this part of the world who come across this way say grapes grow in Napa.
What do we have
Look
here?
at that. Oh, so what are we talking about today? So let me tell you what that is, because Alan just crafted that. That's one of our specials, and it's going to be
It's
on
a
the
new
it's
special
gonna be
that's
on the
out
menu.
this
so
fall.
This is a holiday flatbread. I'm going to read this, so excuse me
Great.
for reading, but he wrote it for me. It's a Oise cranberry orange cognac fruit chutney with turkey and a blend of maple brook mozzarella and Vermont farm-said mild cheddar, and topped with dried cranberries and a drizzle of balsamic glaze. Give me a piece of that. That sounds
that looks
delicious.
good.
So that's one of our.
And it's got cranberries in it. And how about that? We're drinking a mulled cranberry cider.
This is 2 weeks in a row we get to drink this. So
I know.
cheers.
I've had a couple bottles since then, too.
Yeah, I'll bet you have.
It's good.
You know, it's really good.
It
I didn't
just
think I was
fits.
going to be
It's
as big of a fan of it, but it's,
I'm not a fan of really spicy, herbal-y stuff. It's just
But
too
this
much
is-
like a soapbox or a perfume room, but I think this is
You nailed
about
it.
right.
Yeah,
You know, Ben and I went back and forth a number of times, and in the end, formulaically, we would come up with putting 25 pounds of mulling spices in this big tank of cider. And at the last minute, we decided to cut it back to just 10 pounds, which I'm glad we did,
Yeah.
because within a few days, it was already reaching good saturation, and so we were able to pull them out and hit it just about right.
Oh my God, that is good.
So this has become cold. So we're eating this cold. Normally, I think it would be warm.
Well, we didn't have to tell that to anybody.
Oh, I'm transparent. You can almost see right through me. Hollow. This is cold. We're eating it cold.
We're eating the cold dessert, or
So,
the cold flatbread
flatbread.
that was made for us. It was made for us an hour ago, so yes, we're having it cold.
Yes, we're having it cold.
Nobody would know that we're having
No,
it
I
cold.
understand. I can make, you could Photoshop in little steam rising from it. It was cold in here. But it goes,
Cold
it
or
goes
not,
nicely.
The flavors are
It goes
fantastic.
really nicely all the way around.
It's delicious. I'm going to save some because we have some other wines to taste. I want to
I'm gonna try it with the rosé.
But what we're
This-
doing today,
Yeah, tell our audience what we're doing today with all these wines that we're sampling.
yeah, we started a little earlier, we mentioned it. We're 3 days away from Thanksgiving, and we were talking about how so many of our wines go well with the Thanksgiving table. And I love that connection, that brilliant connection, that's because people have been consuming these types of beverages with their Thanksgiving dinner for 400 years, because this is what grows here. It goes back to that. And so as we get ready for Thanksgiving, these are the wines that we're going to recommend you consider for your Thanksgiving table. There, of course, are thousands of options, and please have whatever suits your fancy. But But these make really great.
That's the bomb.
That's
right
the
there.
bomb right there. No, there's no doubt about it. I was just going to say that.
That's the bomb.
That one or the still version.
Yeah.
That's our heirloom crabapple
Yeah.
and our sparkling crabapple. And in my opinion, that is absolutely the
They go back
perfect-
the longest for us too. I mean, they're one of our original wines, like Petite Blue as well.
But
So,
even
but
still,
flavor-wise, I agree 100%. If I get to choose one wine,
that's the one.
I get that sparkling crab apple right there. Boom.
Chuck said that cranberries are native to North America.
They are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he's a
Like
forestry
Gary's
major, so he knows his stuff
Yeah.
when it comes to plants and trees and things.
Chuck says, Dogo rules. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
You got a boat named after it.
You know, we got to bring that boat in sometime too, before it freezes.
The sailboat's not in yet?
Not yet.
Chuck, you're
We're going for a record. Yeah,
You're going to float that thing in December.
maybe. I think it's slated for Sunday, to come out Sunday.
No,
Thanksgiving.
Sunday. We got to wait till December. We're only a week away. Come on, Chuck.
That just makes it harder next year. Although with climate change, it might make it easier. You know what? The rosé is a completely different experience with this flatbread. It goes really well with it. In some regards, I think it goes better than the cranberry cider, but I love the cranberry cider with this.
I do too.
It's totally different. Wait till you try it. It's just a different.
That means I have to guzzle this. I have to drink this really fast now. Oh, well. I'm a professional. Actually, if we were real professionals, we'd have a dumb bucket here.
Yes, we would.
We're just yucking it up on, I was going to say, on national TV.
On national TV.
Well, it is kind of national. It's international. This is international TV.
Yeah, this is
Anybody
global.
in the world
This is the internet.
can tune in and watch
This is global.
us drink this wine and learn.
I want to see your face on the first sip in relationship because it changes drastically after
So
the
should I
first
try
one.
the wine first before I? Yes, I should put the wine in my mouth.
Yeah.
Taste it. First of all, this is such a different. It's
totally
amazing.
different.
It's totally different
It's
than the
totally
cider.
different.
Although there's a lot of similarities in the ingredients.
Well, it's made out of
but
apples
the
and cranberries.
spice, yeah.
They're both apples and cranberries, but they're totally different. But it took me a couple sips before I could get the relationship going.
Well, right off the bat, I put the food in my mouth, and as I was bringing the glass to my nose, and I started getting apple pie.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
things changed
Yeah.
dramatically.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
I don't get. I've
I
never
don't know.
gotten apple pie on this wine, but now
It
with
could be
this-
residual cinnamon from.
Oh, that's true. Because
I'm not.
Never get an apple pie. That's right.
People out there, what do you have plans for Thanksgiving? Food and wine.
And what are you drinking now?
Oh,
You
that's
haven't
always.
told us. What are you enjoying at home? I haven't seen Matt join us yet. There he is. Matt just showed up.
All right.
He's drinking Lake House Red.
Aha. What vintage?
This year will be the Buzette wines for Thanksgiving, says Matt. What's a Buzette wine?
Bouzette.
Buzette.
What's the bouzette?
Help us, Matt. What's a Buzette? It's always in code, Matt. You're always in
Bouzette.
code.
He's good at that. Bouzette wine. Is that a buzz me wine? Is that what that means?
I don't know.
High alcohol stuff?
He's going to tell us. I'm sure he'll tell us.
All right.
You
We'll
better
find out.
tell us, Matt. You can't put that out there. Oh,
We-
Geraldine's here. Hi, Geraldine.
We
Cheers.
have another dish too.
Oh, that's great.
Do you
Oh,
do you
that's
have
another
that?
special.
Was
I have
that
that description?
That's
yes.
another special.
That
I'm trying to
is-
tip this so you could see it without it sliding off.
That is. Let me see if you. Yeah, you can see that. That's good. So bring it a little closer. There you go. Yeah, that looks like a good sandwich. So it's going to be cold though. And that's the other thing.
Nobody would have known that. I can't believe you said that.
Holiday sandwich. Was cranberry orange cognac, fruit chutney with turkey bacon jam. Oh, that turkey bacon jam. Vermont farmstead toast and potato chip stuffing.
Oh,
Served on.
I'm just trying to buy that.
How is that?
That's brilliant.
Oh my, potato chip stuffing.
So, this brings me back. This is awesome. When I was in high school, maybe even junior high, no, I think it was 9th or 10th grade, my friend Jim Tidrick, who David Burke knows, used to make a sandwich, which was, I think it was like a bologna sandwich, bologna and mustard sandwich. But he would take Fritos corn chips. Remember those corn chips that were kind of, it looks like a long fingernail,
Yep.
curved and
Yep.
oily and crunchy, and he would put those in the sandwich and then put the top piece of bread on it, and you would get that crunch. It was all about the textural part of it. So I just bit into this sandwich and got a bunch of potato chip.
Potato chip stuffing.
That's awesome.
So this is
I mean, that's why potato chips are served with something, right? You eat in between. It's almost like a palate cleanser, and now this is joined in.
Let's see how it tastes with the rosé. I want to try some of the Petite Blue with some of these too. So, in the classic wine world, often the recommendations for the Thanksgiving table would be a rosé or a Pinot Noir, a lighter
Light red. Mm-hmm.
You know, not too heavy because it would overpower. Too heavy of a wine would overpower the turkey and some of those ingredients. And the rosé, what I talk about a lot with why our heirloom crabapple goes so well with turkey is it serves as an intermezzo, and that's what it does. It's so bright in your mouth.
Yeah.
It cleans your palate, so you get that rich, oily.
That's part of the.
food.
That's why cranberry sauce goes.
Yeah, exactly.
You got
It's an
this
intermezzo.
turkey. You have this stuffing. You have this stuff that's heavy and oily, and then you have this high acid product,
Right.
like wine, that's going to cut through that. So I didn't try the rosé with the sandwich.
I did. It wasn't as good as the flatbread. It worked, but it wasn't as good.
I'm not sure about the Petite Blue either. That's pretty good. If the sandwich were warm,
It would make a big difference, I'm pretty sure.
it would.
Geraldine says she guesses she should order a pizza.
For Thanksgiving?
No, tonight. She sees us eating all this food. She's thinking, oh, you're not eating tonight.
Oh, so she's going to get herself her own dinner.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, okay. Well, she's smart. She should, if she's hungry. Bob won't be coming home with any of this, Geraldine. I think we're eating it all.
Oh, Petite Blue and the new turkey sandwich.
It's good, but it's a little conflicting. They're separate. I taste Petite Blue, I taste sandwich. I don't get this thing in between.
Yeah, it's the acidity in the Petite Blue is conflicting with my.
And it's also got that, I don't know, that flavor profile. It's a little richer and,
How about with this?
ooh, try that. I never got to try it with the rosé, so I'm gonna try it with the rosé. Did Matt ever tell us about Bizet?
Let's see, Matt. Let's see. Bouzet. Bouzet is the region just upstream from Bordeaux.
Oh,
On the Garonne River, or the, I don't
Oh.
know, Aroni River.
Bizet, okay.
Yeah.
Or I don't know that region, making the same wines as Bordeaux, they're just shadowed by them?
Yeah, I don't know. He went through there on his boat.
Yeah, I like the rosé much better with it.
Yeah.
But this rosé, whatever, well, we know why, because it's from here and it fits with this food from here. There's just something that goes.
Apples and cranberries.
Apples and cranberries. More so than the wild blueberries. I mean, wild blueberries are from here too, but they serve a different purpose,
So
or they pair with different things.
You know, and again, the Petite Blue is recommended by us for Thanksgiving dinner largely because there are some people who say, I really want a red wine. There are some people who I don't drink white wine, I like
Right.
red wine, or I don't drink rosés, I drink red wine. So if you were to choose a red wine.
Which is really silly.
I think it is.
Just saying that out loud for the public.
No, I have to agree. It doesn't make any sense to me either. But I've always felt this way. You know, we recommend, or they suggest on all the blogs out there in the world that, oh, Thanksgiving's coming, get a Pinot Noir for your table. It's never felt quite right to me. When you try a rosé, I mean, not just our wine, but you try a good French rosé or some of the wines that we produce here, it is so much better
Right.
than a red wine.
Right.
Just not the
Right.
right
It doesn't.
combination
It doesn't.
for me. That's
Right.
what it says.
Right. I mean, you don't have blueberry compote with Thanksgiving. You have cranberry sauce.
Right.
Right? You don't have.
It is true though that you know that, and we've talked about this before, but the Petite Blue does go good with turkey. Just if you have it
Oh,
with
yeah.
turkey or pork or some of those dishes.
Especially
there-
roast
There are
turkey,
certain some
yeah.
combinations of Petite Blue and some of the things on a Thanksgiving table that would be good. But excuse me, if you're going to try and pair the wine with all of the food that's on your plate, you're going to have a nearly 100% hit right with Crabapple.
With Dogo.
With Dogo. You're not going to miss out on anything. You're going to be able to drink that wine with anything on your plate, and you're going to go, wow.
Well, the nice thing is you can, and we did this, we'll probably do it again this Thanksgiving. We'll start with the bottle on its own, and then we'll have another bottle with the dinner, and maybe finish with a bottle of it. Yeah, it's. So, I mean, that's really, it's fun
What else we
to
have
try.
open? Try with this.
We have sparkling strawberry. Let's try this. This I have not tried with food like this.
All right.
Here you go, rinse that out. So this could be,
Philip Danette says Petite Blue with smoked pork butt.
oh yeah,
That's, Now you're talking.
oh yeah. There you go. See, I don't know, I love this. The aroma of this wine is incredible. Especially with all these bubbles.
Matt asked if we included Red Scare on the Jingle Bell tour, and we did not.
No,
There were only 4 wines, so we spread it out, and Red Scare was not one. We put Petite Blue Reserve on the list. And Matt, I'm glad you brought that up. If you guys out there aren't aware, this is the Jingle Bells weekend month, and
what a blast.
what was it? It was really cool.
What a blast.
We had, I think we served something like 140 people.
Yeah, 150 or so.
Saturday
Yeah.
or Sunday. Via
This weekend.
Yeah, this weekend. And so if you don't know what this is, the Jingle Bells Tour is put on by all the wineries get together. And actually the winery where Matt works is the lead organizer of this, Averill House.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, awesome.
I don't know if it's their thing or if they came up with it, but it is the folks at Averill House that have been hosting, working hard with us to make sure we get.
Maybe
it all
Matt
right.
was there. Matt, are you working with the,
I bet he was.
were you there this weekend? Did you have a bunch of people come through?
Yeah, I mean, we had, so there's, by the end of the 4 weeks, so you buy a ticket, you can buy an individual ticket for, I think, $55, and you can buy a couple's ticket for $100. And that ticket, it's a great deal. You
Oh, yeah.
get to go to 13 wineries around the state over 4 weeks
Yeah.
and try wine.
Yeah,
You get
it's a
you
no-brainer.
get an ornament for your tree. You get some food.
From each place?
From each place. In Hermit Woods, at Hermit Woods, we offered 4 wines, plus we gave everybody a bonus pour. We got a little mulled wine for people at the end of their 4 wines. And then we did a cheese and wine tasting. So Everybody
And
who came in
chocolate.
got to, yeah, and then the last taste was a dessert wine with a little bite of chocolate. So that's what we're offering. But every winery is doing something different. I don't know what others are doing, but it's a great event.
Yeah, it was a really,
reasonable
and
money.
Matt, we did Lake House White, Petite Blue Reserve, Winnipesaukee Rosé, and Deep Blue. The first three with local cheeses, paired with them, and then the last one with the chocolate. And people loved it. They had a great time.
Matt says they offered every wine.
Oh,
I thought it was supposed to be four, Matt. Every wine. You guys-
Wow, that must have been crazy. That must have been. Can you imagine?
No.
Trying to serve 150
No.
people. Okay, any wine sort of format.
No.
Wow.
And he said they were packed all weekend.
Yeah. Bad. You know,
Their space is small.
the space.
The Averill House is a small space.
Yeah, I haven't been there.
You know, if it was packed, I mean, I can imagine it didn't take long.
Wow. Well, that's good. He's still alive.
Yeah.
Sounds like he had fun.
Were you behind the tasting bar, Matt? What was your role?
Did people try your wine, Matt?
Yeah. They were serving slushies and mulled wine as well.
Wow.
You guys went all out. Is it, Matt, is it Averill House that started this event? Do you know?
How long has this been going on?
I think 4 or 5 years.
Okay. This is the first time for us. It started closer to the seacoast, southern part of the state, and it's just now starting to make its way up further north, which is great. And we wanted to make sure that there were others up here to join in to make it worthwhile for people to make the trip up to cover the distance. And it seemed great. So people were going to Seven Birches and Crazy Cat and
Yeah, and Black Bear.
Black
Those
Bear.
are the three more northern
Yep.
wineries, and the rest are...
What do you think of this pairing?
Well, I just had it with this, and I wasn't crazy about it.
Didn't go.
Didn't go. Did you think about it with this?
It's kind of like the Petite Blue. It's separate, still separate.
Well, that's the thing, is the strawberry doesn't fit.
It's not a bad pairing, and of course, with
No.
all the bubbles, I mean, bubbles are great with just about anything because it does cleanse your mouth.
So
You know,
it went way better with the sandwich.
Yeah.
It definitely went better with the sandwich than the other one. And actually, it went pretty good with the sandwich, and I think it's because of the bubbles.
Yeah.
Those bubbles.
It's the
really
bubbles.
brighten
They're
your mouth.
cleansing.
Yeah.
They're like that.
But strawberry isn't a flavor that I think about for Thanksgiving, right? Because strawberry is usually...
No, that's a
long
spring.
past. It's a spring.
Early summer. I mean, yeah.
So that's a little bit of a brain conflict. I get that strawberry in my mouth, and then I have these very fall,
Right.
Thanksgiving flavors. It seems a little disjointed. That's the one, next to the Heirloom Crabapple, I think the mulled wine is probably, the mulled cider is.
See, the mulled cider with this are really, really nice.
I think it's even better than the Winnipesaukee Rosé.
We're going to be starting with this mulled cider and sparkling crabapple on Thursday.
Oh, good.
We'll try them side by side.
Yeah.
That may be in a martini.
Okay.
That would be a weird conflict mix.
Well, you start with a martini.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
So then your taste buds are really sharp,
it's Thanksgiving.
pointed.
We're there to have fun.
Okay. Oh, there's 8 cups of blueberries down in the freezer for
saw,
you.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I sent you a note. Okay.
That's good. You know what that means?
I know. Well, you made it. It was a no-brainer. Of course I'm You're like, what? But you want pie?
Ken's a big fan of
His blueberry pie.
And I've been making blueberry pie from the blueberries that we make our wine from for 12 years, and I didn't have.
I'll have like 2 pieces of turkey, maybe a little stuffing, a couple
Save some
green
room
beans,
for your pie.
and then half a pie. Perfect Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think the cranberry cider is, because you have the bubbles and you have the cranberries.
I think this is, yeah. I still think the best, and we don't have one open here right now, but the Heirloom Crabapple is the best.
The Dolgo, yeah. Yeah, because that's got,
It's of all of the wines sitting on this table. So what else do we have? We didn't talk about, we talk about everything. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really an amazing process to sort of pull these things together. I see more and more threads sort of connecting, like this podcast that we spoke about earlier this evening, reflecting back on what we make, what we do here. And it's not as if you and Chuck and I sat around and go, all right, we gotta make stuff from here because it's all gonna fit together and it makes sense. It was more of just exploration of the fermentation process, the fact that we can't grow vinifera grapes here. What are we gonna do? We like European wines. Could we make something that is along those lines, but base it entirely on what's here? And that really, for me, I never really saw the bigger picture in the beginning. I was in the weeds, I was in the details. Maybe you saw it from the beginning, the holistic sort of view, but I was always just in the minutia, trying to think about the balance of flavors and the things that might complement and how to actually capture that from the plant into the glass.
It's true, although I remember almost every conversation we had about figuring out what we were trying to do here having to do with two things. One, if we were going to make it, it had to be made from ingredients that grew right
around here. Right.
That was a important tenet in everything we said. So we got that very early on, that was important to us, that we were going to make wine.
That made sense. I mean, it really was from, our backyards, from
That's what got us going.
Greg Mee's yard with
That's
kiwi
what got us
berries
excited
and
about
rose
it.
hips and
Yeah.
quince. And
We were making stuff out of the knotweed growing in your
Yeah.
river, and the apples growing on my side yard, and,
Yeah.
and the fruit growing on your trees, and so we were, and the honey that you were getting from your hives. This was really cool. This idea that
It
we
was
were
very-
harvesting stuff off of our land, our
Right.
very land. We were
I
tapping the
love
trees.
I love that because that was,
was
Maya and
really-
I had just bought that old house.
Yeah.
And so I was
You were
really
living in
embracing.
town
We
before
were
that.
cutting
And then
trees
before that,
together.
you were in New York.
We were cutting trees in the backyard and driving an old tractor to haul it out and putting up a bunch of food out of our big garden. I mean, we were really connecting to the land. And this whole fermenting part of it was great because I like fermented beverages and the land could produce it.
So that's really also fascinating because you are like born and raised a city boy.
Yeah.
You've been living most of your life in cities.
But I never was a city person.
No, I
I've
know.
never been
I
a
know.
city person.
Well, that's what I mean. So the moment you guys bought this farm back in early 2000, you just were just like
Yeah.
a kid in a candy store
yeah.
all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
it was
Like,
just-
wow, this farming life.
Driving a 1947 Farmall tractor, 11 horsepower.
Is that what it was?
Crank, yeah.
11 horsepower?
11 horsepower. But torque out the wazoo. 11 horsepower, that's it.
That's amazing.
A little crank on the front to
Yeah.
start it, and just great.
But the other tenet that we said is that we're going to make the wines we like to drink.
Right.
There were two things that we did a lot of research. We visited a lot of wineries all over New England before we started this winery and started thinking about what is it that we want to do and talking to other winemakers about what we wanted to do. And there are a couple things that really stood out in that conversation was, first of all, we were talking about making wines, dry style wines out of the fruit that grows here that you would lay down in your cellar
Right,
for
everybody
10
just
years.
shaking their head like,
And everybody's like, well, you guys are nuts.
Yeah, it's
That is
ridiculous.
just stupid. Not only is this a hard business to be in, you're going to make it so hard,
Yeah.
you're going
You're
to
gonna die.
for sure.
Right.
And so nobody bought into that concept. And then that's what ultimately you, I guess I don't know as much about, where you came from. I guess I do. So I came out here from coming here from California, and I
Right.
visited hundreds of wineries.
Right, yeah.
and I really had a
You always have had a much more active understanding of the current wine world than I do, by far.
But you came at this because you had an opportunity in your childhood or in your younger years to drink Grand Crus from some of the
That was
best
just,
wineries
yeah,
in the
just
world.
recent. That was in grad school
Yeah.
in the late 80s.
So you
Yeah.
had an introduction into wine that was, far and away above what most anybody would ever
It's like a
have experienced.
16-year-old driving a Ferrari for their first car.
Right,
That's
right.
what it was. It was like, wow! Okay.
But
Well,
once, we talk about this a lot, once you go there,
yeah, you can't go back.
it's so hard.
Yeah.
Once you start going down this path of really learning about and appreciating wines, it's just really hard to go back to buying a box wine or a,
Well,
a
I mean,
$5
this
two-buck
would,
chuck or whatever it is.
that's just it. I mean, the other night when we had late 90s red wines, and then we had a more recent red wine, which is a good red wine, but it's hard to drink after those other ones. It
Well,
just
you can't.
doesn't
You can't
have,
drink it after those other
doesn't
ones.
have that,
Never do that again.
the age, the format, the feel, the smell. It's just,
That's a great story. So that wine, just the wine we opened later in the evening, which was 2017, I believe, just a week before I had with a pasta dish.
yeah, you
and
loved it.
I was like, that's an amazing wine.
Yeah.
It really had some old world character. It had
Yeah.
some barnyard. It had all the things I love about wine.
Yeah.
And then you bring out this 1998, French bomb that just
Yeah.
blew me away. It's got
It's got all those
25
aromas.
years
It's
of
got all those
age and
aromas. It's
really
just
classic
it's-
age
it's
to it. Yeah, and then later in the evening we opened the one that I
Right.
and I was like, oh, man, where did I get this? $2 chuck.
That's what it's so.
You can't compare.
It's referential, and you don't know it unless you're having them side by side
Yeah.
or in sequence.
Yeah.
And it takes a while for you to come back down to sort of a normal palate where you can then appreciate the modern day $20, $30 bottle of wine.
Yeah, and I tell everybody this who we go through the tour. I said, I'm teaching you some things that if you follow this path, you'll begin to learn about wine in ways you've never experienced before. If you dig in on this, you're going to learn some great things and you're going to try some great wines. Be careful what you wish for.
Well, that's
because
just it.
Once you go down that path, it becomes harder and harder. For me, it's not hard at all. I love it. I absolutely
Well,
love
it's-
seeking out that next great wine that's going to be.
Right.
That's like it's
And it's still
a
fine.
game.
I mean, sometimes there are wines that you get it. It's like, oh no, sorry, I just can't drink this. And so maybe someone else will enjoy it. Great. And there's just a certain mindset or perspective that you need to be in. And sometimes I'm just going to enjoy the bottle of wine. It doesn't really. I'm not going to dig into it too much if there's not that much to dig into on it. I'm just going to enjoy it. It's like Maya and I had a bottle of Prosecco last night. And it was a light, easy drinking Prosecco. It was quite light and easy drinking. It really didn't have that much flavor or character to it. There were no flaws or issues, but there really wasn't much there. So it was just, we were sitting, having a conversation before dinner, and so we were drinking Prosecco, and it was great. But it wasn't as if we had opened up, a really unique Prosecco that had all sorts of unique flavors. And we didn't talk about the wine. We had our conversation, but it wasn't about the wine.
So there's a good analogy to this, and I thought about this the other day. So I've been, in addition to wine, as I said to everybody, I don't discriminate against any of the alcohols.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been really loving exploring beer, and of course all the wonderful craft breweries around New England and beyond, and then even European beer as of late. But so I've gained a whole new level of appreciation for beer, and yet there's been a few times in the last, over the summer there was a couple times when I thought, you know what, I'm going to go down to the local store and I'm going to get myself a 6-pack of
Beer.
Pabst.
Really? Really?
Or something like that. I don't know what it was, but just something like really the opposite of all of what I was drinking. And
So what'd you think?
obviously I was looking for something that tasted that within the realm of whatever it was. I don't know if it was Pabst or not, but whatever it was going to be a very light, very easy drinking. It wasn't going to cost me an arm and a leg. I was going to be able to pound a couple of them and not have to worry about getting crazy drunk, and I enjoyed it. In the same, that's what I'm. That's kind of the analogy.
I love it. I mean, that's what, sometimes I go out and I buy a Rolling Rock. Or,
Yeah, that's
you know,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
just
But
like, okay,
Canadian
I just,
Rolling Rock actually was one of the
I
ones
just
I
want a
bought.
Rolling Rock
They
and
had one
just
down
get
at the
it.
gas station, and I bought a 6-pack. Not too long ago, Gerald and I went down and bought. Gerald likes the lighter beers anyway, so it's good to have him around. We bought a 6-pack of Corona, which I haven't had in 25, 30 years, because I used to drink that when I was in California. And sure enough, we spent the night having a couple of Coronas. And it's the opposite of all of what I've been drinking.
Oh yeah, it's not something you nuance or dig in on or talk about.
You just pound it.
But you just drink it and you're having a conversation or doing whatever. And
it's totally fun.
it's great. It's a great, I think that's true of lots of things. Clothing, cars, music, foods. There's tiers to those foods, to those things, and that's it. And you can't compare apples to apples at times because they sit on different tiers.
Right.
It's like a Honey Crisp and a Kingston Black. You can't compare those two. They won't taste. They're both apples. So you are literally comparing an apple to an apple, or a Dolgo and a Macintosh.
Yeah.
You know, they're just
Right.
completely
it's
different.
the same way. I mean, the beer analogy that a Corona or a Pabst, and then you drink a zero gravity IPA that has tons of flavor and all kinds of interesting things going on. It's night and day.
When Ben making wine here and being a commercial beer brewer for 10 years, and he loves beer and drinks beer all the time. And he said something the other day. He said, "Yeah, sometimes Ken, I just turn my critical brain off. I just drink beer. I don't think about it. I just drink the beer." And then there are other times I'm like, okay, I want to Ben.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, "Yeah, sometimes I just, because otherwise it ruins it for me. I get too critical. I'm digging in on it, and I don't want to do that. I just want to drink a beer. Just want to hang out and drink a beer, not talk about it, not think about it. Just go. And I gotta.
Well, those are the times that I run down the store and get the Pabst.
That's it.
I just want
to
drink something easy.
Yeah. That's great. That's what this bottle of Prosecco was last night. It's just super easy, and that's it.
Yeah, and I have that same experience with wine as well. There's times when we just drink a very average wine.
It is amazing when, just tonight, trying 4 different things with 2 different foods, and half of them go well, and half of them are okay, but they don't blend. When you hit a pairing that goes really well, then that's something that stands out and becomes memorable. Whether it's Corona and popcorn, or it's, foie gras and a fine Chablis, it's a different thing.
Heirloom Crabapple and
Thanksgiving dinner, yeah. Dolgo and turkey, roast turkey.
You guys don't have your Heirloom Crabapple for your Thanksgiving dinner. You're missing out. Either one's still.
Yeah, but this is the bomb. I agree. I love that. I drink a lot of that.
I can't wait till we try that. I assume we're going to try that
That's the plan. We got that little sticker that we need to print out.
That's for the other one.
It's for both, right? It's for both.
Well, we didn't get it approved for the other one yet.
Oh, I thought we did the. Did you know the sandwich was cold?
It still is. It's still good though.
It would have been cold anyway. Even if it started hot by now, it would have been cold.
So, these are our specials right now. So if you come into the winery,
Right.
these are your options for the holiday. Got a little holiday twist to the eatery.
Did you send out an email to these folks, to our club members, about December 8th?
Yes.
Okay. Just
A few
double
people
checking.
have already signed up.
Hopefully some of you folks will be able to make it. It's always such a great time. We will be, can I let a little cat out of the bag here? This was sort of broadcast a while back when we were tasting the 2012 Hermitage.
Oh yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, you should. That's not a cat out of the bag. You should tell everybody.
Yeah.
Get signed up for that.
So I think we have a case and a half of it still in our library. And I'm going to bring some bottles over here
Good.
on December 8th. And
2012 Hermitage.
yeah,
Sign
because
up.
it's drinking right on. Right now, it's at its peak.
Yeah.
11 years later, made out of berries in New England. Wild foraged elderberries from around the state. It's really fun to put this stuff together. It's really great. There were no blackberries in that vintage either.
Oh.
So it's blueberries, elderberries, and black currant
Currants from Vermont.
from just over the river in
Yeah.
Vermont. Yep.
I remember going to get those
Yeah.
one year. Another thing that happened, we talked about this, was it the last show? Maybe the show before, but we did put together the hike to go to the grave site.
That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
After Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And
Next
and
Saturday.
If you haven't
This coming
already
Saturday.
signed up, don't bother because it's full.
It's
We-
sold out.
We said we
Filled
would
up.
take 20 people, and actually, I'm really glad we limited it to 20 for a couple reasons. It is a very rural area, and if we showed up in a larger group than that, it would have really just not been right for that part of the world. And also the Meredith Conservation Commission, who was the group responsible for putting that park together. They did some great work to build that
Right.
collection of land and get it under conservation and make it a town park. And they were very concerned about too many people creating.
Well, there
a
used to be a
path.
trail. There used to be a trail. When
There
we
did.
first started this winery in 2011, we took one of our first bottles of wine out there, our whole group, the whole crew, all 6 of us, 7 of us, and
The whole crew, all
yeah,
7 of us.
yeah. And we went on out there. We piled in the back of your pickup with the dogs. Maya drove your pickup down
It was the first day we were open.
the first day we were
When
open at the
after
end
we
of the day.
closed, yeah.
And we drove down there with all the dogs, and we hiked out to Joseph Plummer's tombstone. And
even then, the trail was pretty sketchy.
it was
wasn't
still
a-
sketchy,
Yeah,
right.
because the story goes, and I didn't know this, and this is.
I didn't know it. We
a little
just learned this.
upsetting,
We
but,
just learned this.
20 years ago, or a little more than 20 years ago, when that property was first developed, put under conservation, and created into a town forest, they did put a trail in that took you to the hermit's
Oh, a
gravesite.
clear trail.
They cleared a trail. They had a marked trail that took you to that place. And sadly, some of the local
Got vandalized?
teenagers or whoever took the opportunity to go out there and party and did some vandalizing of the gravesite and had fire pits out there and abused the property. So it didn't take long before everybody began to be very concerned, because this is a historic space.
right.
This gravesite is it's an important place.
Yeah.
And when you see it, you'll see what I mean. If you do get a chance to go out there, it's pretty cool. And especially when you know the story behind it.
Yeah.
So to put it at risk of being damaged or somehow not.
So they got rid of the
surviving in
trail.
future. So they got rid of the trail. And so when the Conservation Commission got word that we were going to be taking a hike out there, they got a little concerned.
Sure.
And I let them know that they don't need to be concerned. We'll do everything we can to shepherd, the future of that property.
Of course.
To take care of the future of that property, and all of the people that are interested for the right reasons, not to go out and have a campfire
No.
and do anything.
No.
All of the people are just people who are interested in the history of our area and the history of that part of the world. So it will be fine, but we do.
Are we going to
cap it at
disperse
20.
when we go in so it doesn't look
Yes.
like we've
So
all gone on
they
one
asked
path?
us- I suggested this actually. They said they don't want to see a herd path, and I said, well, what we'll do is we'll all line up on the road and enter the woods from a different place,
and then converge?
and we'll converge at the river.
Sure.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
and do our best to not.
So it's full. We have 20 people.
It's full. We have 20 people, but if you do want to visit the grave, send me your email. I'll put you on a waiting list, because there's been so much interest in this. I could have 50 people on this hike.
Wow.
There's been at least 50 people that have requested to be on this hike
Great. Well, that's
And-
maybe something we can do.
a few times a year.
Maybe
for
we
sure.
can package it even for tourists that come here in the summertime that would love to go and learn some of the history and do it. And again,
Small groups.
being appropriate for the place,
Yeah.
so that it doesn't get abused in any way. But I love the idea of taking a hike out to the hermit's tombstone and then coming back here and hearing the story and tasting some of the wines that were sort of inspired by Joseph Plummer. He was a cider maker.
He was a cider maker. He's well known for his cider. So if you do want to join us on this, we're going to do it again. We're going to work with the Conservation Commission to make sure that we do it in a way that
Great.
fits their model.
I mean, this is part of why land gets put in conservation, is to preserve it so that people can appreciate it. So as long as it's appreciated, it's great. That's the whole purpose. It's not like putting it in some dome and you don't ever touch it or deal with it.
So, yeah, a couple interesting things that came out of this. First of all, one of the things the Conservation Commission said, well, we want to respect the hermit. He was a hermit. He didn't want to be, visited by all these people. But actually, that's contrary to the story that goes with the hermit. The hermit had actually a lot of visitors.
I know, he used to weigh people.
He used to weigh people. That's how he made his money. So there's an analogy here to be made between what we're trying to do and what the hermit wanted to have happen.
Right. You want some seclusion, but you also want to partake and interact.
Yeah. And the other thing is believe it or not, I don't know if I told you this, but a member of his family is coming on the hike.
Really?
They
a descendant?
They are.
It's not a descendant because he didn't have any kids directly, right?
No, a plumber.
But family, a plumber.
Connected to his family.
Yeah.
Because he had, I think, 6 or 7
You go through the main gravestone on Hermit Woods Road, and it's a whole bunch of plumbers.
He had a bunch of brothers.
It was a big
and sisters,
family.
and they were all well off. They all did very well. And the person contacted me from the Cape. I don't know how they got word of this, but they live on the Cape, and they're going to drive up here.
From the Cape to go on the hike?
And they're going to bring some additional information that they have about the family.
Oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Oh, it's awesome.
You've spent another hour with us. It's an hour. I can't even believe where an hour goes, but it's gone.
Oh, it's kind of like the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Boom.
So next week, we were supposed to have this week. We might have mentioned this last week. I don't know if we did or not. But Alan, our general manager, who's been with us now for 7 months, he's going to be on the show with us. We're going to learn a little bit about what Alan's background is. And
he cooks good food. That's what we had, even though it was cold.
That wasn't his fault.
That wasn't his fault.
Well, it kind of was, because he left early.
Oh, wow.
He left it in the warmer, but I took it out prematurely.
Yeah.
So anyway, next week we're going to have Alan here to talk to Alan about a little bit about his background. And, if you haven't met Alan,
he's been such a great fit. It's really awesome.
It's been great to have him, and we have some fun new guests that we're lining up. And actually, Steve Chabolsky. He's our mustard guy. If you've bought any mustard from us or had any mustard on our sandwiches, Steve's the maker of that mustard.
Great
from
mustard.
Kentucky, New Hampshire, and he's going to join us.
And he grows a bunch of rhubarb.
He grows rhubarb, and we get that for our Lake House White and for our strawberry rhubarb.
Yes, indeed.
And he's probably going to bring his banjo. I hope he does it.
Oh, I hope so.
Told him to.
Yeah.
He's a musician as well. And then
maybe he'll ride up on his old Harley. You ever seen his bike?
No.
Oh, it's
great. I hope he does. I doubt he will, though.
No,
a little late in the season for that.
Yeah.
So we have Iago. What's his last
Iago
name?
Hale.
Hale, who's the person doing the Kiwi project down at the University of New Hampshire. He's going to be coming sometime early next year. And Matt Nash from Sap House Meadery.
That's going to be a party.
I can't wait.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll bring we'll try some of their stuff and who else do we have?
Now, could we tie in someone remotely into our cast that then would go out to the world?
We've done it before with each of us.
Because I was thinking this guy out in LA would be kind of cool to bring in and to have a dialogue about him and his activities and his stuff.
It's a great idea. Yeah, we should do that.
We should see if he would be up for that.
Yeah.
Because that would be really cool.
All right, so we'll actually have a few Monday episodes planned before Monday.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it would be fun to reach out. I mean, there's a bunch of great people doing awesome stuff all over the place.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're having the Apple Hill Farm.
Chuck Souther,
Chuck
and
Souther and
Diane.
his wife are going to come up sometime in late December or early January.
You know, that's where I got the first black currants that I
Fermented?
that I fermented. Maya and I went down, and he had a U-pick black currant
Oh, wow.
place at his place.
I thought they were invasive species.
No, there's a, I think the currant black, red, white currants can create a blight on other plants.
Yeah.
So they're restricted from the area, but black currants are okay,
Oh.
but red and white currants are not. But
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us for another Monday, and we look forward to seeing you next Monday or future Mondays down the road. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.
Have a great Thanksgiving. And we'll
Yeah, have a
see
great
you next
Thanksgiving.
week.
Go.